My voice. Hi.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Boots. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sige, we'll just we'll go to the slide to start. Okay. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Ateneo Art Gallery's ArtSpeak Online. I'm Boots Herrera, the Director and Chief Curator of the University Museum, and we're here for our third ArtSpeak Online session, or rather fourth ArtSpeak Online session. But this is the first time we are holding a session that's specifically targeting the senior high school students. We've been coordinating with some of the art coordinators, art teachers, and this is one of the ways by which we felt we can help, given that our classes are now conducted online. So we want to welcome students from the Ateneo Senior High School who are attending this talk as part of their contemporary art module. We look forward to your questions. Please feel free to send them through the Q&A box. We are also streaming live via the AAG Facebook page, and attendees there can send their questions through the comments box, and these will be forwarded to the team. So today's session focuses on our featured artist in the exhibition here in Ateneo Art Gallery, which has been quarantined for the past 6 months. Early this year, in February 9, we opened what was to be the first exhibit in our annual 2020 program. The World According to Charlie Co is primarily a drawing exhibition that focuses on the artist's more than 40 years of artistic practice. 2020 also marks the year when Ateneo Art Gallery turns 60. We just turned 60 this last August. And Charlie Co also turns 60 soon. And so I actually thought it would be the right time to have his drawing exhibition this year. Earlier, you got a glimpse of the virtual tour of the exhibit, which will be available via the AAG website. So you can check on that anytime later. On November 5, Charlie Cott turns 60 years old. So this is an advanced greeting to you, Charlie. He's a proud son of Negros Occidental, born in Bacolod City. He co-founded the Black Artists of Asia in the 1980s, a group that responded and reflected on the plight of the Negrenses, particularly the sugarcane farmers, through their socio-political works. Because Negros depended solely on a single cash crop, that is sugar, the regional economy was particularly hit by the drop of sugar prices worldwide. But since then, the community has developed a more diverse economy that highlights the rich resources of Negros. These experiences you will see later are reflected in the works of Charlie. Charlie also co-founded the VIVA EXCON, which is a regional, I think it's the longest running regional art festival, and they're actually celebrating their 30th year this year. In his presentation today, Charlie will share his experience as a young artist, among others. His journey has led him to a successful career as a visual artist, but not without any challenges. He has represented the Philippines in international exhibitions, such as the Asian Modernism held in Tokyo, Japan, the 23rd Sao Paulo Biennale in Brazil, and the second Asia Pacific Triennial in Queensland, both in 1996. And the second Clay Symposium and Exhibition at Gifu Prefecture, Japan, and the Taeju Art Festival held in South Korea, both in 1997. He has held several solo exhibitions and participated in many group shows and won local and international awards and competitions. His works are also represented in major institutional collections, locally and abroad. Apart from Ateneo Art Gallery, these include Lopez Museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Manila, the Ben Cab Museum in Baguio, the Fukuoka Art Museum, the Singapore Art Museum, and the Queensland Art Gallery. Apart from continuing to be prolific in his art making, Charlie has worked closely with the local art community in Negros and the Visayas to develop more venues and opportunities for young artists in the region. And aside from VIVA EXCON, he also co-founded Orange Gallery and what is now known as Orange Project. So we will hear more about that from Charlie today. So Charlie, welcome, and thank you for taking time to be part of ArtSpeak Online.
Well, again, thank you, Butch, for inviting me. And then Ateneo, really, I'm honored to be having my exhibition there, turning 60. Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. Well, I hope I can bring you
through the journey.
Through the journey through this talk.
Sige. So for the attendees, for the listeners, viewers, we Charlie organized some images from the exhibition and also other works and images from his travel to walk us through his journey as an artist. Okay? Sige. So we can start, Charlie, anytime.
I'll try my best. Okay. Okay. So
these are, yeah.
Okay, sige, Butch.
So these are images from the installation shots of the exhibit. So can you give us some insights on what you thought would be best to be included in this drawing exhibition? Of course, both of us actually negotiated, no, to come up with the final selection. But I would say the first choices were really yours, no? So can you tell our audience? Can you share how did you choose the drawings that you wanted to be included?
Yeah. Luckily, I was able to keep some earliest drawing I have. No. So I think you have more photos of the early works. We go. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the early works.
The early works, yeah. The early works. No, the earlier works. Can we have the earlier works, please? The one when you go inside.
On the blue wall.
Yeah, before
on
that.
The blue wall.
Yeah, on the blue wall. Yeah, the other one.
The other one.
Well, yeah. Okay. Not that one. Anyway, the one with in the blue wall, not this one.
I think later makikita natin. Yeah. Sige, just continue.
Yeah. We're able to look at the earliest work. I think the one I have is the 1980.
80s, yes. Early 80s.
Yeah, early 80s. Just graduated from St. John College. So I went to La Consolacion, Bacolod. Then that was important time also because it was a really good timing when I were able to meet the Pamilya Pintura, the group of Alvarado started. So I started there. And I think the images that up to now I'm still practicing as artist is I think there's a visual image in my head already. When I approach a canvas, a drawing, mostly like maybe in canvas, in drawing, I practice the one that yung idea of seeing things in your head. But you can only really dwell with that when you do a lot of drawings, a lot of constant, constant looking at the subconscious, maybe the visual. I have to go back to the early on, maybe elementary or earlier than that, maybe 8, 10 years old, 11 years old. I'm a
So
dreamer.
you were always drawing even when you were.
Yeah, I'm always drawing, but I always had this idea of creating a world. That way I'm the youngest, so I'm always alone in the house. So I always had this imaginary friends, this imaginary world. And it was not, an idea, I want to be an artist. But at that time, walang artist. Just a normal boy dreaming all the time, drawing whatever you have, that paper there, whatever. You just, but I think that those are the things that unconsciously becomes very important in the later part. If I look at it after 40 years, it's a visual image in my head that literally, if I put that on paper or on canvas, I literally can see it. I mean, this is good, this is that. So that's how I work. And these drawings are all these are the journey. The drawings are, later on I would say, it's a chronicle of life. I know. You sometimes you only can realize that after
looking at it.
Yeah, after looking at it. So I chose these drawings because these represent certain stages in my life, and the importance of drawing and then the practicing of looking at the images in your head needs a lot of these drawings. So I choose these drawings that are very important in my journey. So we have early 80s work.
Okay.
We have.
Can we have the next slides?
Next, please.
This is a recent one. Move on. Can you move next slide?
This one.
Can you talk about this work?
Okay. So this one is very important. It came back to me after 40 years. So this painting is so important to me to realize that how important this painting is. This is one of my earliest painting. I think this is 1981. The title is Tao. After this work, actually this work, I parang sinabi ko sa sarili ko, I want to pursue art. Because when I did this work, I had this really great, I don't know, as artists you can have this feeling na the joy of creating something from your head. And this is oil on canvas that this image of a person, that's me. I have 3 doors at the back, and there's a door here in the middle part. But I decided to move forward, going out of the frame. So at this point, I said, I want to be an artist, but I know it's going to be a long journey.
It's a difficult
It's
task,
a difficult one. Difficult one. It will never be easy. But at this point in time, I think I decided to become an artist. But I don't want to be called myself to be an artist maybe the first 10 years. But I said, I want to pursue this. So this is it.
What does the door at the back represent? Do you remember when you painted it? That's so distant, pero
maybe.
There's something bright. There's a bright color behind it. I was just wondering because it actually reminds me of the composition part of it. Reminds me of the Diego Velázquez Las Meninas. There's a door at the back. No? Sige, can we have the next slide? Ito yung, this is one of the early drawings, no? And your style has been described as whimsical, surreal, no? I guess it connects with you being a dreamer, no?
Yeah, I never, parang hindi ako takot kung ano makikita ko, just draw it. I just captured it. Parang I have this feeling always of rushing thing, working, because I see this image, I want to rush it, I want to finish it, I want to, even, at the early. So this is a series, okay. Can we have another slides? And then, yeah,
So
these
these
are
are a
like,
few more of the early
yeah, but
works, no?
these early works, this is the time, I think when I was studying in Manila.
Mm-mm.
This is Manila, this is Manila. From a provinciano, going to a big city.
Saan ka nga nag-aral? Anong school?
I went to Manila to study and then went to Philippine Women's University.
Yes. So,
So women's, yeah. Nice school. Interesting.
but then you decided it
Yeah,
wasn't the place for you, no?
yeah, this is important also. I think this is the time when I met Bobby, Hiraya, because we were
Valenzuela of
yeah,
Hiraya
Bobby
Gallery.
Valenzuela. It's very very important because this time I was like, if I don't go inside, I don't go to school. I would go to
Hiraya
exhibitions.
Gallery.
Yeah, Hiraya. Now before Hiraya, I would look at the newspaper and look at what's happening. So these are the early times when I would go to exhibition and then visit. I think Philham. There's a gallery.
Solidaridad? Is it
Yeah,
Solidaridad?
yeah. In Philham, I could see the Modesto work. I think
Mm-hmm.
early the drawings of Yoko Ono something. And then at that time, I was also I was exposed to works of I think Alibangbang series of
Danny Dalena. Yeah.
Danny Dalena.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to Heritage and I would see a big Angkyukok. These are
Mm-hmm.
my early interest, inspiration of artists that
Mm-hmm.
inspired me. And then I would literally enjoy going to CCP alone with a beautiful space at the time
Yeah.
in the 80s. Yeah, and
Sige,
then from yeah.
can we have the next slide? Yep.
Yeah.
Just proceed. Ito yung mga can
Yeah.
you tell me about the drawing on the right?
Oh, on the right.
I remember
Wow.
ito yung alam ko may kwento ka dito eh.
See, at that early on, I would try to document myself, what's happening with my with the subject matter. The right side is going into like a brothel.
Mm-hmm.
A brothel. It's really quite interesting. I think that time because it's like a film. Your eyes is like a camera.
Camera.
It's like looking at you going inside this dark room. You knock on the door. Dramatic. So everything is being documented in my head, and then I would literally draw after the experience.
Mm.
That's a woman. You go in, you knock on the door. You look at the woman, and then you look if you type mo pasok ka, and then you have this parang this a coin. There's a glass where there's a coin on the left side here. May parang may coin. So alam mo kung ilan na yung customer. So these are the things that interest me, no? Without
you were exploring the Manila landscape.
But at the same time, it's already like already a diary.
Mm-hmm.
I realized later on that I've been doing diaries. I've been doing
visual diaries. Yeah.
Visual diaries, and I think I find it interesting that the visual diary is like your trip in life. You will pass this, you will experience this, and I never hesitate to draw the experience. No.
Sige, well, let's move on. Can we have the next slides?
Yeah.
So these are all. Can you talk about this painting? Because when we were planning the exhibition, and I told you that it would be good to have a few paintings, no, not just drawing. So in the exhibit we have, I think, 4 paintings, no, that accompany the rest of the drawings. But you specifically requested this work also to be part of the show. Why?
This was done in Manila. And the other drawings is already part of that documentation, that of that diary. So this is Manila. This is how I see Manila. That parang a frame within a frame within a frame. I'm interested with the frame within the frame, that series.
So and it's similar to the first painting that we saw.
Yeah, it's like, this is almost the same time also, no? The frame within a frame within a frame, no? So you're going inside, but at the same time you're going outside. And then my other hands again, then na nakatago, na feeling ko, you have to be careful on a big, in Manila, maybe in a bigger city, or at that point of time, sabi ko, na anytime you can be beaten by that fish. There's just a big fish there. So you always have to be on your guard.
Oh, I noticed, kasi kanina parang yung figure mo parang lumalabas, no? Ito, yes, ayaw niya lumabas, no? Parang nakakulong.
But I think the eyes, yung mata niya, tumitingin, that's very interesting. There's a lot of question there.
Yeah.
The first painting dyan, puti yung eyelid ko, ito nakakita na eh.
Sige, can we have the next? Ito, yes, I think I'm the one who selected, Negros, no?
Yeah, ikaw nag-select nito na.
This is from the collection of Toto Tarosa, your good friend, no?
Yeah. Then again, the stage.
So dito makikita na natin, no, yung mga usual iconography mo. You have the gazebo, 'di ba? Yung parang pavilion sa plaza. Clowns, no? And then chairs, the rows. I believe this is you. The figure nasa left. Is that supposed to be you?
Maybe. Maybe. But again, look at the landscape. The three mountains is always there. Up to now, I would be using that.
So that's your landscape.
Yeah, and then I think this is the first time I've seen. That's the Queen of Peace Church on the back of the taxi, where I had my alma mater. Yeah.
So it's Bacolod, no?
It's Bacolod.
It's from your memory.
Yeah.
Okay, sige, next. These are so clowns are usual images also that we'll encounter throughout your
Yes.
Sige, next. This is among the works that are included in the show. We selected 2 large drawings, but you don't normally make large scale drawings, no?
No, this one is a series of. This is part of the exhibition in Silver Lens. It's all charcoal drawing. Yeah, but but I do casually usually. But my time, I still do big drawings.
Big drawings, okay.
Yeah, I big drawings.
Sige, let's move on to the next slides. These are the 2 large drawings.
So it's a 4x4. This one is a documentation of the Lehman Brothers. This is 1997 when the American economic collapse. The two drawings. So
when we were planning the exhibit, I was toying on the different titles. So I thought The World According to Charlie Ko would be appropriate because you were not only talking about your world but other the different facets, no? So it's not only your personal but your social, political engagements. Okay, next. Can we have the next? Just move to the so we can start with yung different sections ng presentation ni Charlie. Yan, okay. Sige. So we can start. You can proceed with yung we came up with 3 themes, no? Artist document, art as community, and then art as healing. So just to provide a framework for your narrative. Sige.
Yeah. So this one is art as document. This is a work in Beijing. So this is a travel drawing
Mm-mm.
series of travel trip drawings.
So travel your travels
Um,
uh,
what is important with travels is you get symbols like in Beijing a series. Can we have another slides? The other drawings. Yeah, the other drawings. This is in Beijing. So in Beijing I started my Chinaman series.
mhm.
So images that comes from my painting also comes from my trip. My trip can also be a lot of new iconography
Mhm.
would come out from my travel. Just like I think wala that dyan, but the crow started in Japan. My trip to
Japan.
Japan.
Mm. I think
This is
later
Amsterdam.
makikita
Yeah,
natin.
later
Oo.
this Amsterdam.
Yeah, this is a drawing that you did in Japan,
That is in
1997.
Japan. Yeah, yeah. So the crows
And then in
started.
terms of medium, kasi we're also because for the benefit of the students, you seem to be very comfortable with pen and ink and brush, felt pen. Tapos I remember when I was looking through the drawings that you had in your studio. It's interesting how you employ different techniques, no? Um, I, I think that's also an important aspect of your practice kasi yung ang pinapractice mo rin the skill aside from developing your own iconography, no, through your drawings. So this, for example, is pen and ink. You're in a subway train ride.
Yeah, New York.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, New York.
Lexington.
Yeah.
This is in China, Tiananmen Square.
Tiananmen Square. Yeah, yeah.
So why were you in Beijing?
Ah,
What was the reason for your visit there?
it was I was with Osads and I
Mhm.
had my residency in Beijing.
Okay.
And I told Agnes with Osads, I wanted to have a totally different experience. Like I want to have a residency in
Mm.
Beijing during winter.
Mm.
So this is winter in Beijing, where I did a lot of work. It's 6 weeks, but I was producing works like
Uh-huh.
crazy. So yeah, and this I usually do drawings, but this one is like a study of a painting. I usually, but rarely I do uh, studies
Mhm.
for a painting. Yeah.
Oh, I think magandang ano yun, no, point of discussion then. Ano yung purpose ng drawing? For some kasi, for some artists, they use it as preparatory work for painting. But in your case, it's not that way
Yeah.
necessarily, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Except for a few cases.
Yes, a few cases. Yeah.
So this is in Boracay.
Yeah, with my very good friend Maurice.
Mhm.
Yeah, he owns a restaurant there.
Parang party ano talaga, no?
Yeah, these are the sculptures and images. Okay,
So,
again, that
ayan.
was in Japan. So I don't hesitate to sit in the and then do my drawings.
So ang laman ng bag mo when you're traveling, when you're walking around, is always a sketch pad.
Yes.
Sketch pad and your
oil
pastel or pens.
Yeah. It's easy to bring along.
Okay, please tell us about this work. I really found this quite fascinating when you shared with us, no?
Well, this is the first. I've been working. I like horses. Images of horses always very very important in my work. No, whimsical. Maybe you can see a rocking horse and a white horse. But this is the first time I've seen. This is a work by De Bocker. No, she's a Belgian artist, and the first time I saw in a museum these two headless horse. So I was really, really, really amazed with this work. I've been to other galleries, museum, but this one really in Adelaide never really left my mind when I look at the image. You know? So I did the sketches of this piece, no? And the title of this piece is "We Are All Flesh." I think, wow, sabi ko, wow. So I think what I did from this experience, I did the drawing, came back and then did a big painting of this experience, no, of her work. But again, now when I look at the work that I did this year, last year,
last year, 2019.
Yeah, we are all flesh. Wow, I said with the pandemic, parang wow. Okay, so kino-connect ko na gano'n, no?
Can we have the next slide?
Yeah, this is the big piece. This is an 8 by 10 feet work with modeling paste. And when I approached this, I didn't use the brush. It's all my hand, you know, fingers, my hands, layering the work. So this is quite important to me because of that image that ginawa ko, and that's quite rare na to make it into a painting after 2 months coming back, and then have this still intensity of that
experience.
feeling of experience na ito gusto ko gawin, and I want it big, So, but then again,
I remember seeing this in your studio when we visited last year, and it's an overwhelming, in terms of scale and the image. Looking at the image now, am I right in reading the reference to the Philippine flag?
Yeah.
Okay. So yung red, yung even the configuration of the flag. And you said this is the first time you employed the technique of painting with your hands.
Yeah, the colors.
And that is something that you do more often now?
Maybe I did a series, no? But this particular piece, you need to do this gestural painting. This in order to get the. And if you look at the back, it's a burning city. There's a burning city there, and and I put parang it's on a chopping block. So I add this image of a chopping block.
Parang execution, no?
Oh, execution siya. And then the title, "We Are All Flesh." So sabi ko, and then sabi ko, wow. Probably it captured my feeling, my pre-dark feeling maybe of constantly work with the subconscious and the images that has been playing in your mind and been creating paintings and drawings of images from your mind, and then from what I feel, and then trying to gather all that feeling into and then express it into drawing or painting. No? And I love it. I love it.
Sige, next. So this is just a view of your studio, and we actually have the two panels, no? Two panels on the right in progress. This is a recent time. Work. Okay, pandemic time meaning very recent.
This is quarantine, April. March, April. This was like the world gone mad. So the title of that piece, "The World Gone Mad."
So what we're seeing is the work in different stages.
Yes. It's an 8 by 20 feet. So I was like,
and this is the final work.
Yeah.
I can see parang merong how do you call it? Parang etched. Yung very textured na areas.
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Parang mong kinamot o kinalkal yung kwan.
Yeah.
Yung surface.
Yeah.
And you were saying this is that's there's a figure there with a blue tongue.
Parang crawling. Parang Oo. Then yung sa taas are yung mga paa, that parang na ano ka? Tumbling, So everything seems to the photo is not that great, but this is a work that I try to express my frustrations, my
Anxieties.
anxiety, insecurity of what's going to happen. It seems that before this work, we know what's going to happen, and then suddenly we don't know really what's going to happen.
And earlier we were talking about this. Did it help you cope with the situation?
Yeah, during this time when I was doing this, that idea of having maybe I'm pretty sure all the artists quarantined in their spaces has the same feeling as me. No? So that's why we after this, when we opened the gallery, we opened a group show called Art and Isolation.
Art and
And
Isolation.
this work as artists is again documenting, been documenting all these years for 40 years, and I find it interesting because it becomes my own great satisfaction of this image, because this image would not come without the pandemic. This image would not, it has to come somewhere deep in order for you to express it, and it's unique. It's unique that you were able to see this. You can only able to I would
imagine
only to see this with this pandemic. You have to be in a situation where you are, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's not just me. A lot of artists.
I'm
A
sure.
lot of artists. I'm pretty sure. That's why when we had later on, I'll talk about the art and isolation. There were like 50 artists. Wow, everybody was telling a story about. This is a very universal collective experience.
Sige, let's move on to the next. Okay, so this section, I think it's very important, especially for your personal journey. And we're glad you're very open in sharing to share your experience, how art has helped you heal physically, emotionally, spiritually. So sige, let's move to the next slide.
Yeah,
so maybe you can start with sharing ano ba yung ailment na that you had to go through, that you've been
I've been diabetic. Yeah, I've been diabetic already almost 30, 40 years, 40 years now. 40 years. So I had a kidney transplant 2014.
14, yeah.
I have like 7 months dialysis. So I have to go through this. I think these are the images of Anne sleeping, and then my mom.
Anne's your wife, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Anne.
My pillar.
Yes.
So that's my mom. So this is again documentation of dealing with sickness. This is ICU images, no. So
and then you were talking about the numbers on the pillow.
The numbers on the pillow. Yeah, it becomes like, okay, you're in the hospital. You only see in front of you is it's a clock.
Para ka nagbibilang ng oras. Literally, nagbibilang ka talaga ng oras.
So it's all clock. It's all numbers. So again, in this time, numbers in clocks are quite important. And this series during the transplant, I uses a lot of clocks, and my clocks has no numbers, because I think each one is unique. No, when you're time is your whatever. Nobody knows. Okay, so yeah, this is a series of drawing.
Let's just move to the next. So ito yung sabi mo, yung mga bantay, no?
Ito yung I'm sketching all in Riverside, Bacolod. I went back, and then I'm now sketching the one nagbabantay sa patient caregiver.
So ano ka, medyo ususero din?
When I go into the the dialysis center in
Oh,
Bacolod.
kasi wala kang magawa, no? Habang, habang
So
nag-iintay.
actually, my subject matter is the surroundings.
Next.
Oh, okay. This one, well, this is
So
the
yung,
guy.
yeah, you said this was when you underwent a treatment that actually led to worsening your condition.
Yeah. This is the very important also because this experience is like life and death really. I came back I went from the Gaitay to the pinakalapit na hospital, Asian hospital. So like I was there dehydrated already. But yeah, this is an experience of life and death. Okay. Never hesitate to do that drawing. This is now yeah, okay, this is me.
So these are self-portraits.
Self-portrait. Again, dealing with sanity. You go back to paint, to drawings, and then that will be your strength. No. If I go back again to that again, not the image, the 10 by 20, the big 10 by 20 work. It's like taking advantage. Hey guys, if you're healthy, if you want to create big works. Very, very important. Physically, if you're now, I'm doing big work because I feel back, my energy is back. So don't waste time. Create. The physical.
Take advantage.
Yeah, when you're sick, it's so hard to paint. It takes a lot of effort pala. But when you're okay, it's just okay. It's a big work. Something.
So what you're saying is nung ginagawa mo tong self-portrait na to, it was a lot of effort on your part?
Not really, but if you make me do a 4x4,
well, yeah.
It's gonna be hard.
Oo. At saka bawal pa.
Bawal pa. But I remember. I've been painting for 30 years using oil. When I had my kidney transplant 2013, Dr. Kwana said, "Sorry, Charlie, you can't use oil."
Kasi because of
the fume. So suddenly
now you use acrylic.
But there's good acrylic na parang oiling approach. So my first painting, I did the first painting. I was thinking I'm using oil. Acrylic, so,
Sige, next.
Yeah, next.
Can we have the next one?
Yeah.
Tapos oil pastel.
Oil pastel is always on hand. The 4 hours dialysis, that's my happiness. Yeah, that's my happiness. That's my mini studio.
Portable. Sige, next.
Yeah. The first time I did the dialysis, yeah. So I tried to record it.
Yeah. So in the exhibit, you'll see many of these drawings in one section. No? So parang yun nga what Charlie was saying, it's a visual diary. And it's his way also to share, no, and remind himself, I guess, no, what you went through, because sometimes I think you need to be reminded that you're not vulnerable.
Well, actually, with this experience, you feel that the mortality is, you can go anytime. I mean,
yeah, especially now, no.
Yeah.
Sige, next. Let's move to the next. Sige.
Oh, that's important.
Ito. Before we move to the next section, please tell us about this painting.
This one, parallel moments. This is where we're staying. It's a condominium in BGC. Was able to get one, so I turned it into a studio. That's me. If you can see that painting with the red line on my body, that means I'm on dialysis at that time. So this one, I painted it when the next day I'll be having my angioplasty because I have a heart problem that time. And at that time, when I was in the emergency doing another dialysis, it was at the time watching TV, it was Yolanda. So when you see at the back, it's all this hanging, this trend,
the tempest, no? The storm.
The strength of the
Typhoon.
wind, and on the other side there is like, wow, trying to absorb these two parallels of having my operation and then having looking at that this devastation of that landscape. And I was telling myself, "Nah, I don't have to complain." I was watching the TV, and I know I had a hard time, but I said I don't have to complain with all the devastation I see. So I never hesitate to paint images. That's my story always.
Sige, next. Okay, artist community, no? Because I think engaging with your community is very important in your journey as an artist. So please share some highlights about that.
Yeah. We just got married, this picture. This is a cup of art. I started it. Me and Anne started with the cup of art. So we already have some marketing area. We also do some exhibitions there, group exhibition. So it started again without yung VIVA pa, with Black Artists like 30 years already. So this is part of using space and having the space, share it with the local artists. That's 96, and then this is 2004, 2005, I think. This is quite important also in my life, where we had like when I met Bong, I think we crossed path, and actually I was already passing in this area, and I said, "Wow, Bacolod needs a space." So we were able, maybe I don't know, we crossed path and we saw each other, and then I said, and he asked me if he wanted to put up a gallery. I said, "What? Okay." So I don't know, but that 2005 we started it. This is the first the first orange
gallery. Yes.
Orange gallery space. So yeah, it started. That's like 10 years there in that space,
and then it expanded gradually. This is the interior of the first orange gallery.
This is the interior of the first orange, and I have to thank Bong. I think Bacolod has to thank Bong, the artist here, because these guys gave us the space. Space for us to play with.
So this is Bong Lopue, no?
Bong Lopue, yeah. We were.
Sige. So this is a workshop, or rather, an art competition, no?
This is a gallery space, and then turned it into a Victoria's art competition for elementary and high school. The gallery can always be. That's just a gallery. It's like a center where you can use. Can we do this? Can we do that? Yeah, we can use this. But as long as it's about the artist, it's about art. I always support projects that needs.
Sige, let's move to the next.
You would have like artist talk. That's Barry. That's his work. Barry Servat. Then this is very important. Two women artists. The left side is Karina's installation, and then the other installation with performance was on the other side is Maureen, Austria. So the second space was really created because after the kidney transplant, I wanted to celebrate life, so we opened a bigger space. So this is now the art district.
So the art district is composed of different spaces run by artists, no? There's a small cinematheque. This is a gallery run by a group of young artists. And of course, meron din silang cafe.
Yeah, this is Art Association of Bacolod. Now it's within Art District. These are artist talk series on art and isolation. We just recently installed that flying horse with the gas mask.
Of course, dapat may mask. So this is an installation on the left.
We have another space installation outside. This is Bong Lopue's old cinema
projector.
And then that's Manny's video, and then installation by Manny and Bong. So we are using spaces outside of Orange Project.
And then this is a recent
Most recent one.
installation
Yeah.
at the
Where-
side of Orange Project.
Yeah. That's an astronaut. We're looking at space this time. So yeah, you just make the place more creative. Let your mind fly. The idea of art district.
Okay. So thank you for sharing with us a part of your journey, no, as an artist. And obviously it's not yet you're not yet retiring. You're not 60 is just a start. So maybe we can have questions. I'm looking at okay. So I can see, I'm looking at the names of the attendees. Some, I see one or two familiar names. It means estudyante ko siguro. Pero, yeah, I was wondering, maybe one question that I remember the art teacher, art coordinator was telling us that students would often ask or want to know about an artist is, apart from your personal experience, can you tell us who are there any artists that inspired you? Not necessarily in terms of style, but when you were just starting as an artist, sino yung mga inspiration mo?
That's why I was telling you earlier. What's like the works of Dalena, the works of Ang Kyokok.
So mga local artists, they were really very instrumental, no?
Also, and then also, of course, the powerful work of Alvarado. Alvarado is like it's 10 years older than me, so it's like my elder brother.
Okay.
My kumpare. But
Nune Alvarado, yeah.
Nune is very important to me. I mean, he and then Pamilya Pintura's group has molded me to be what I am now. Very important. Yeah.
There's one question from Monette Dator. What would you say would be your signature style in terms of color, palette, composition? Siguro in terms of color.
Yeah, when you see a Charlie-Co, it's a Charlie-Co. I don't know, but I think, did I answer it? Again, can you repeat the question?
Yung what would you say would be your signature style? Siguro, yeah, yung what makes a painting immediately recognizable as Charlie-Co? So, well, usually hindi yung artist ang tinatanong yan eh. Ako, I would say it's the vibrant colors that you use. There are particular types of shades of blue. In fact, when we were designing the exhibit, di ba, we were consulting you. Ano yung kulay. Tapos Charlie went through a few of the icons, the crow, the clown, horse. Pero yung I just remember that the horse appears in different series, but in different configurations, no? Yes. Yung horse na parang panggera.
Yeah.
Oo. So it's interesting how you would parang create represent, reformat a particular image for a specific series, no, or theme. Composition wise, how would you, siguro yung question related to this is, paano mo naiisip yung composition? Do you come up with a general configuration and then with the smaller elements, or you start with one element that expands?
I start with one element that expands. And sometimes I would say, I can see it in my mind.
Okay.
It's already a picture.
Parang buo na.
buo na yan, inaalam ko
Mm-mm,
na yan.
mm-mm.
Okay, sige. Ganon. And then, but of course, as you grow, as you paint, you see images, you develop
Oo.
the story develop.
Or na-edit mo pa.
Parang in-edit mo, add,
Mm-mm,
plus,
mm-mm.
yun. Yeah.
Um, I'm just curious now that you mentioned this. Has film influenced you? Kasi like Peke Galiaga is from Bacolod. He was a good friend of yours. No? So
Yeah.
this are there other art forms na not necessarily ginagawa mo pero nakaka-influence sa'yo? Kasi
Other
like
art
very very cinematic yung description mo kanina ng process mo eh.
I have always this medium. I use oil, I paint, I do drawings, I do sculpture.
Mm-mm,
And then I would create mixed media.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would create mixed media into a retablo. Parang retablo.
Yeah.
Mixed media, remember my mixed media work?
Mm-mm,
With
mm-mm.
terracotta. Actually, when I realized that later on, actually this is an inspiration when I grew up in elementary high school in St. John, and you always go to the church and you see that the 12 Station of the Cross. That becomes
okay.
it's like small
kasi mga tableau yun eh, parang retablo.
parang urna. I love urnas. I love urna. It's like a stage. And I approach my painting and my drawings as like a stage. It's like a stage. A film, not really. My film is in my head.
Okay. Pero
I think it's like my approach is like this. The uniqueness of being unaware. The uniqueness of being unaware, academically or whatever. It's just like how to maintain being a child. It's quite hard. But just not too aware, not too very
hindi aral masyado, hindi masyadong aral.
Parang there's a lot of gut feeling, there's a lot of this. And when I approach it, I find it very fulfilling. I can find it that I can express it very well. If you want me, like somebody want to commission, like if I'm commissioned, parang my mind doesn't work.
I understand.
You do a painting, there's a model, then you do the drawing, parang panicky. But when you say, I want to just draw and I want to have this, it becomes very natural. And I think, ang maganda niya, I think, is hindi ako nawala dyan all these years. I held on to that idea na it's a unique, or it's just an image that I want to create, not really thinking it has to be unique. No, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't want to think I have to create it because this is unique. Maybe in the later part I said, wow, this is important. When I had this, I have to do this because I think this is important. So now you're more aware, and I don't want to be that aware. Yet there is always this I love this idea of
being more spontaneous.
Yeah, very very spontaneous, and then maybe this pandemic made me slow, make me a little bit
more cautious. Cautious.
More relaxed, more because you have more time. But yeah, I think it's a strength.
Sige, let's go through. Biglang dumami yung questions eh. So from Genesis Tan, since you've worked with many different mediums, which is your particular favorite and why?
Actually, not everything. Parang yung ginagawa ko, mixed media, terracotta sculpture, painting, oil pastel. I enjoy everyone.
So parang mga anak mo yan, no?
Parang
Hindi ka makakapili. I hope that answers the question. Ash Santos asks, what is your thought process when it comes to the creation of your artworks? How do you manage to express what you're feeling onto your canvas?
Well, you have to absorb so many things. Emotionally, you have to absorb so many things. Parang you absorb things. Eh. You get confused with watching TV. You get confused with this. So again, you try to keep this, emotion, and then when you let it out when you work. That's how I do it. So.
And I guess it's also yung condition of the times, no, helps you determine ano yung relevant. Kasi minsan ang dami mong naiisip sa loob, no?
Yeah.
Pero kung ano yung mas importante, that's what you would, of course, that would come out more naturally, no? Or more spontaneously.
But there are also a lot of work that I do very whimsical.
Yes, actually, in fact, I was going through some writings about your work, and I got this quote from Sid Reyes, writes, what may at first seem like child's play is at the core ruthlessly allegorical, sharply satirical, not smothering the viewer with meaning and message, but nonetheless transparently manifest. So parang ang daming nakapaloob dun sa description, and it captures your practice. No? So let's move to the other questions. Very inspiring talk from Camille Sunga. What advice would you give to young artists on how to make a name in the industry?
Sign your signature. Man, I told you, if you listen, it's 40 years, it's a lifetime. It's never guaranteed. I think the guarantee here is when you do the work and then you have this joy that you cannot explain. I think that's the most beautiful part. To make a name, one time I've seen this, somebody, an artist said, my advice is eat well, do your exercise, be healthy. Because when you're healthy, you can create. If you're sick, you cannot. But constantly.
But in your case, kahit nga may sakit ka, nakakapag-create ka eh.
There's no other choice eh.
Oo nga.
You know, that addiction of that satisfaction of creating something, it's very addicting. And at the same time, it's now in my case, diabetic and life and death. So now this is like important, very important. Especially now with the pandemic. Let's put it like this way. Think it this way. Every painting is the last painting. That's an inspiration.
Yeah.
That becomes very important. You don't have that luxury of time. Time is always there. No? But I think the most important, sabi nga, break. Now, think of this would be your last painting.
I think may sinabi ka earlier then na might be relevant to this question. You were saying first 10 years you didn't think that you were an artist. But you were creating. So, because you're just being true to yourself, hindi mo pinipilit, no? It's the public will know, no? If an artist is true to him or herself. And that will create a name, no? It's the body of work.
The body of work will create a name. So we'll answer that. You have to have a body of work. But still, we have the body of work. You can still have them walang pangalan. I mean, but
it's yung ano pa rin, it's the voice that you create, no? That you bring out through your words. Aika Shimomura, okay, the question is, how would you define bad art? Sorry.
It's the curator, not me. It's not my work. I think for me, no bad work. As long as you create work, even when somebody said, yung drawing na ayaw mo, huwag mo itapon.
Oo, meron tayong pinag-usapan, di ba? Na ayaw mong isama dito sa exhibit. Pero sabi ko, gandang-ganda ako eh.
Just don't throw it. Just create. Just create. Don't stop. Just create. The formula, no. Just work.
I think what makes siguro kung babaliktarin natin, what makes good art, it's being true also to the to the times, to your what you're feeling, no? Hindi siya pilit, hindi contrived.
Nakikita naman yan eh.
Nakikita mo eh. Oo, totoo yan. Okay, Moira Chantal Sabare asks, out of all the countries that you've been to, which place brought you the most inspiration?
Wow.
Kasi ang gala mo dati, di ba? Ngayon, hindi na tayo makapag-travel.
Oo,
For now.
parang Manila, Europe. Parang for me, Manila, Europe na eh.
Oo nga. So, what place, at least one place you can
Yeah, well,
identify?
I would always say this, the most recent one was the Booker, the work.
So
That
this is Australia, no?
This is
But
Australia.
mainly
Actually,
because of that particular work.
but actually, Australia is very important to me because I was in Australia 88,
96.
89, I think 89. 96, no? 96?
96 was the Queensland Triennale.
Before that, I went there, 86, 89. We had a Black Artist exhibition there, 89, I think. There's a lot, my surreal work, I think, more inspired on the Australian surrealism.
Wow, I should look that up. I'm not very familiar with that.
Mas ako kasi at the time I was 89 before the 1990 13 artists. I was in Australia for 6 weeks and I've been going to the museum and I love the more surreal Australian style. I'm really close to that and I was able to have a major show in Ray Hughes Gallery many years later.
Okay. Another question from Eldrick Los Baños, estudyante ko to. What were the biggest challenges you faced in founding artist groups and spaces in Bacolod? And how did you overcome them to form a thriving art community? Naku, mahabang kwentuhan to. Pero, sorry, medyo nawawala ka. Again.
When you have artists, young artists, it's easy kasi if you have these young artists, that they know that your real interest is not really to make money out of them.
Yeah,
just put your card on the table. Alam nila, and it takes time, no? It takes time. So when these artists, nakikita nila, now 15 years later, these artists are still with me, and I saw them grow, develop into good character, good artists. Pag may mga artists that nakikita nila na yung interest mo, they can smell you. You can smell me right away.
I think that's very true.
Yeah,
and personally, I can attest to that. 15 years. I think we've known each other for more than 15 years. And I remember in one of my visits to Bacolod, I was with a gallerist, our friend Silvana. And that was where, it was in Orange Gallery where we first saw the work of Manny Montalibano.
Yeah.
And Silvana eventually invited him to hold an exhibit in Manila. So it was at Orange. No? So, and we've been doing this. And right now, during my last visit sa Bacolod, ang daming mga bata.
Yes.
No? So, it's really proof that parang you succeeded in creating a community because the community is theirs.
Yeah,
it's not just for you.
Local communities and the artists know they can smell you away. They will not support you.
So it's really the answer is to be honest and truthful, and you know who to serve.
Yeah.
Okay, Juliana Alampay. Sorry, she's asking, can we see terracotta creations? Sorry, we don't have slides of it now. Do you have any terracotta work there with you, Charlie? Can you show one?
The back.
Yes, there.
That's my early
actually
work.
You should see. I remember one of the terracotta works that I saw Charlie did is parang your version of the Last Supper. Yung mga magsasaka, mga farmers, 'di ba? Oo, magkakahiwalay sila na So parang tableau. Kaya tama nga yung sinabi mo na ang influence mo ng theater, ng urna, kasi parang ganun ka mag-isip Parang naka-prop sa stage.
This is my mixed media. This is my mixed media work.
So it's a painting with 3D elements, jotting up. So hindi siya. So it's a combination of sculpture, painting, and
even the frame. The frame is unique. It's unique. It's a different, So, I'm happy with doing my sculpture. My first one-man show in Hiraya. is terracotta, all terracotta. I don't know if you remember.
94 yon, di ba?
98
No.
no, yeah, 86
Parang,
I think.
86. It was a later, I think it's a later exhibit that I saw.
Yeah.
Okay, another question. Ito medyo, from Anne Morales. How could one apply the arts in the field of management, business, and technology? So this is they're asking an advice from an artist, no? How would you apply your experience as an artist in management, in business, in technology?
I don't know.
Mahirap ba yun?
But I think the new generation has all this know-how in terms of technology and using technology as art and your emotion. So I think it's the same like going into working in a canvas for 8 hours or doing your computer or video, your technology in 8 hours. I'm pretty sure you're going to see so many things in 8 hours looking at that screen, no? And use that as your medium.
So yung discipline, no? Yung rigor ng pagtrabaho.
Parang part of your life. Parang yung sabi nila nga, art is oxygen or money is oxygen, whatever you call it. But you need that constantly there. You know? Okay.
Sige. Medyo mahaba to. Mukhang taga Bacolod tong nagtatanong. Isabel Cristal, will you reach out to Bacolod schools to have talks similar to this? I think you do, no? But you do that dun sa art district,
we do
no?
that.
So actually, mas
Even in
sila
the last 15 years.
So I hope that answers your question. It's great to be familiar with some of the places in your work, and I'm sure students from Bacolod will be extremely. I think you always reach out to the community, you know, students, and then even of course the young artists. Okay, this is a question from Father Jason D. You remember Father Jason?
Yes, of course.
Ito nako, medyo ano lang maikli lang na kasi alam ko this can go on. What are the plans of VIVA EXCON 2020, especially in the time of the pandemic? What are the significant changes? Are you in a virtual? So virtual. Okay, yeah, like this.
We cannot do anything about it. Have to go virtual.
Mas madaling.
But I have to this idea of VIVA become very interesting now because of the pandemic. Because if you give the islands now their greater responsibility in expressing and celebrating VIVA in their islands, and the local will really enjoy the actual exhibition in their islands, because every VIVA for the last 30 years you have to bring it whoever will be hosting.
Host.
Now, let the islands celebrate the VIVA in their own islands.
Right.
And see the actual work, because you cannot, it's very hard to travel to Manila or to Bacolod to see the actual work now. So, but this November we're going to push through with the virtual discussion.
Parang conference. Meron pa rin yung conference.
Virtual conference.
That's good to know. So we're looking forward to that.
In July, hopefully, if it's gonna. This is the longest VIVA. In July, we're gonna be, if people can travel already in Bacolod, we're looking at July.
Okay. So meron kwan.
Physical.
That's good. Okay. From Genesis Stan again. How do you think art burnout should be dealt with? Have you experienced na burnout ka na ba?
Yes. There's, you look at the canvas and it's not talking to you, and it's like, but I do repeat myself. No, I don't really repeat myself, but maybe I repeat myself. I don't know. Those questions. Then you start to question yourself. I think it's already burnout. It's nature. I think it's us as human beings. There is always, not just in artists, not just, we all get burnout.
I guess it's also one way of saying is answering this is not to rest on your laurels, no?
Never. I don't like that. That's dangerous.
Yeah, yun. I think
I think yeah,
Kasi lalo
that's
kang magiging stagnant. No?
yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Crisel Canonigo, when can you consider something as a work of art? Medyo philosophical to.
When you feel it's true. When you
Oh,
feel
yan.
that you're showing your soul.
I think that's a good, good statement, good answer. Okay. Monette Dator, which among your works would you never part with, no matter how tempting the price? Oh, yeah, nako. Magandang question yun.
Pwede lang if I don't need the money, I don't want to sell everything. I mean, it's again and yang, you need to sell. But the one that
Meron kang mga tinatago, di ba? I mean, you decide.
Meron.
And it will remain kept.
Yes. It could. Maybe to create a foundation.
Yun, I think, I remember when we visited your studio, meron kang mga ilan na
Yes.
Never to be part with.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay Bautista, you remember, Jay Bautista from
Jay.
Petron. So, has the image of the Angry Christ by Osorio influenced you?
Not really. Later part ko na nakita yung si Osorio eh.
Talaga?
So,
oo.
Yeah. Not really because later part ko na, really later part ko na.
Okay, Christine Morante, how do you deal with artist's block? I think it's a similar question na nabanggit na kanina yung yun, parang
touch in your hands maybe.
sorry.
Artist block?
Oo.
Just grab a vodka maybe.
Okay.
You need to relax.
Yes.
I think you need just you say you cannot really pressure yourself to the edge unless you're really that kind of an artist. But me, I have my right hand here, Anne.
Your boss.
Yeah, my boss she's very, very important in
of course.
That is
and I miss her her baking. Okay, what do you think should be who do you think should be nominated next as national artist for visual art?
Si Batman.
This is a question by Christine Banez. Okay, Dan Klimakov through Facebook page. Which gallery in Bacolod could I view Charlie's works and possibly purchase one? Well, Orange Project, just go to the Art District.
Yeah.
No? At Orange Project.
Yeah.
Okay. Meron pa ba? I think, sorry. What would you define bad art? Ano na natin to eh. I think we've touched all the questions for now. Okay, so any parting words or last words from you, at least for the session lang? For the students especially, these are not necessarily students who want to be artists, but studying contemporary art. No? So siguro just to give them a sense of what's it like to be a Filipino artist today.
Your generation is challenged this pandemic. You have to be very, very strong, very emotionally, mentally in approaching this. But this is a very unique time where whatever you will be creating, maybe writing, collecting, looking, taking photos, whatever, it's very unique. Be conscious of the time. And this time, I think will make, to inspire them is to face what's in front of us right now. Don't let's face it. Confront it. Yeah.
Confront it.
Confront it. If you're a painter, paint. If you want to create a new music, a new story from your guitar, go ahead. Don't stop. use this pandemic as the inspiration of life, of
Yun.
moving forward.
Wow, that's a very loaded advice and statement. I think it's being a responsible member of society now, no? In different ways, we can do that. As a student in your respective fields of study that you wish to pursue. I think in the case of Charlie, we saw how perseverance has created a full artist, no, a holistic artist, someone who's honest with himself and with the community. This is also one reason why when we were drawing up the artists to be featured in the prints and drawing room or gallery here in Ateneo Art Gallery, we thought of you as one of the artists because given that people know mostly your paintings and your mixed media works, but the drawings, it's something that for most artists nakatago lang eh. And true enough, I think we discovered more about you through your drawings. We hope that we will be able to share with you the exhibit that we've mounted here in Ateneo Art Gallery. We hopefully will be extending the show until such a time when we will be allowed to open. So thank you, Charlie. Thank you for sharing your works with us. So naka-entrust mo na sa amin yung mga drawings mo together with those that were shared by other lenders. Thank you for sharing with us your story. And we hope that our listeners, our attendees, particularly yung mga senior high school students, were able to discover a lot about what it is like to be a Filipino artist today. So thank you. We will be having our next ArtSpeak on September 9. So our featured artist is Poklong Anading, an artist who works with multimedia works. He also does drawings, photography. And then on September 16, we're having Kiri Dalena, who also does, sculptures, video installation on September 16. So we look forward to seeing you then. Make sure to check our schedule, updates on our schedule through our website. Our virtual tours of some of the past exhibitions will also be available. Some are already available. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in our next ArtSpeak Online. Thanks.
Thank you, Butch.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Ateneo.
Salamat.